Hey, I'm going to do a much more detailed analysis in a little bit just to show you initially. So I talked about how some assets were primed for massive breakouts, right? So SRM is one, various time frames lined up. We have a lot of confluence between the various time frames. I'm anticipating an explosive move now. If you recall, similar models that I expected, whether it was VTHO, obviously my models are really good. They yield results like nobody's business. 30% breakout here on VTHO. It's now fully reset. Last night, right as we were hugging this 222 EMA right here, I said, time to get back in again. I loaded back up. In the case of more recently at LRC, explosive move, ended up from my breakout call, did 220% breakout run, right? Now that's reset a bit. It's actually pretty much time to get back in because I had sold and taken my profits on most of this position, but still in just a few days, 220% breakout pump, flawlessly predicted. My models are really great of late. And then we have some other examples which relate specifically to SRM. But in the case of SRM, let me first show you IOTX, which I talked about 2 days ago. Now has a 40% breakout. When I originally got in, I said we might go lower and then I could buy more. Well, it did dip down more, and then I was busy, forgot to buy more, and missed out on buying more. But still, I had my original position was ready to rock, so that's a 40% breakout on IOTX. All those trades did exceptionally well based on my models, which you guys know really work. Oh, hold on, I'm doing a video here. Come here. Is that better? Is that better? No. No? Daddy's magic kisses didn't help?
No.
Okay, I'll be right there. All right, let me finish explaining this, okay? All right, so back to work. All right, in the case of SRM, similar model. We have this correction, right? And this correction, we have, it's not, that wick kind of throws things off, but still a bit of a falling wedge. What's more important here is the trend line resistance. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So we have this trend line resistance right here. We're just starting to break it. Can you see? You can tell if you zoom in right here, you'll notice we're just starting to break that trend line resistance. That was big. I was waiting for that. When I posted about SRM setting up for a big breakout run the other day, I was talking about this. I was waiting for the 4-hour trend reversal on the Stoke. We came up on the Stoke, started that momentum shift. We turned up and had a nice little run over an 18, 20-hour period. Now we're peaking above that trend line resistance. This is very important for a couple reasons. Most importantly, if you look at the daily model, the daily Stoke is fully reset and is starting to turn up. We have a confirmed bullish reversal, this crossover right here, which means if we're starting that multi-day bull run, we're going to get anywhere from a 5 to 10-day bull run on SRM. It could do 20, 30, 40, 50%. But if you look at some of the earlier moves and some of the earlier performances, she could easily do a run like she did over here. I mean, she can break out big time, especially since the higher time frames, like the weekly, still have room for a big run. Like this run was, what was that, 280, 300%? If I go from all the way in the bottom to the top, there's a lot of potential here. This correction was exactly what she needed. It came pretty much back to the 50% Fibonacci retracement. If I do this and show you what I mean, you'll notice on the bottom to the top of this prior run, she came back almost exactly to the 618, which is the golden ratio, and there's a major horizontal support there. You can see all these candles are bouncing right on that 618, right on this green 618 line. So it's a really, really strong horizontal support as well. That means you have a really good opportunity here, because what you can do, you can set your entry right here, and if you were to buy right here at the current price, don't worry about a target right now, but if I were to do this, right, that means I could buy right where we are here, and then a stop loss down here. So if this stop loss, 7% is huge for a stop loss. I don't want to use a stop loss 7% below my entry. But just to show you how the strategy would work, if you were to buy right here and your stop loss goes 7% below your entry, even if it dips down again, you have this trend line support and you have this horizontal support at the 618 to protect your stop loss. Now, in this case, I don't think it's the best way to play it. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for the 4-hour reset. So the 4-hour Stoke is really high and it's starting to turn a little bit. So depending on what happens here, I anticipate coming back down a little bit, just enough to reset that 4-hour Stoke oscillator. So we might poke up a little bit more, ultimately come back down, bounce on this trend line resistance, which is now a trend line support since it's breaking, then make the big bounce up. So we're really close. I'm not entering just yet. I'm going to wait a tiny bit longer and see how this plays out. If she starts to just pump and it breaks up and gets above like $7.40, I'll just FOMO in right there because I'm anticipating such a big explosive multi-day bull run that it doesn't matter if I'm paying a little bit more. Ideally, my model will hold here on the 4-hour, will come back down on the Stochh, reset a little bit. You'll see these lines retrace. The price will come down slightly or maybe just move sideways and a little bit down, and then you have an opportunity to get in at a lower price. And if it comes down enough, I'll actually be able to buy in where I can then set my stop limit order, my stop loss, below that 618 horizontal support. That would be the best case scenario, but even if it doesn't come down enough, I'm still going to load up on SRM. I'm just waiting to see what happens with this 4-hour Stochh reset. So I'm also going to set a notification here on the Stochh. When it gets down to about 46, 45, this orange line means I'll get a notification, and then I'll know we've bled off some of that momentum, and we can come up with a new model to anticipate that next move up. Because once this 4-hour resets and starts to turn up on the Stochh, that's going to trigger the explosive breakout move up. That's all I have for now on SRM. I'm going to show you more detailed analyses on these other assets, RSR, Cody, Key. Several of them are already making somewhat of a bullish move, but there's still a ton of assets with a lot of potential. So I'm going to want to review them with you and show you guys where we stand. I'll do a more detailed video on my computer so we can go full screen and show you what I'm talking about. Until then, trade safe, trade smart, and I'll catch you in a bit.